Story 1. My girlfriend, 30 female, is upset at me, 32 male. She doesn't want to have internet or Wi-Fi at the house. We have lived together for over a year, and we have our good and bad times, and lately it's been rough. She's gone from the house all the time. She rarely shares where she is or where she goes. She spends time with me less and less. I've talked to her about this and how I feel a need for more time together, but to no avail. When we moved into this house to live together, she told me she didn't want to have internet, Wi-Fi, a TV, or a computer. All things I enjoy and I used to love were hobbies like playing my PS5, my PC, watching sports, etc., but it was very important to her. I agreed and was more than willing to sell my things, earn some extra money, and focus on her and her hobbies. She much prefers board games, time in nature, etc., and I honestly love those things too. At first, she gave me a lot of her time, and our time together was great. Lots of time with board games, outside, playing sports together, being active, etc. So much time outside of work was just us. Over time, she's found new hobbies, new things to do outside of us, and that has left me alone quite a lot lately. Sometimes for 5 to 10 hours per day, some days less, but some days more. The short of it is, I'm bored with nothing to do but other things I'm not really interested in. I don't want to go out, but I don't want to be stuck here at the house by myself with nothing to do except chores, be on my phone, or sleep. I told her I'm going to get back into gaming, get a TV, PS5, and internet. She blew up and was peed, yelled at me, and refused to talk to me about it. She left the house for the rest of the day and was gone for 7 to 8 hours, but during that time, instead of being bored again while she was gone, I went ahead and did the things I said I was going to do. Well, today is the following day, and I just told her what I purchased and did to be clear about it and not hide it. She got angry, said I knew having the internet was a deal breaker and I did it anyway, said some other hurtful things, and then asked me to leave. I'm sure I could have communicated this better, but I just want to know if I can save this somehow and still have something to do like game or watch TV, even if only while she's gone. I told her while she was home or wanted to go out together that I would always give her and the home 100% priority, and I mean that, but that didn't matter. Okay, this is not a healthy relationship, and she is being unreasonable. I'm sorry, it's not unreasonable to, if both of you agree that you want a household without internet, without TV, and all that kind of stuff, more power to you. I like the internet and TV, obviously, I'm on it, but, I also get that it can be kind of bad. Social media is just an awful thing, and TV can really drain away your time and stuff like that. That's fine. But it seems like it's stuff that she desperately wants to avoid. But that doesn't mean that you should have to. You should be able to have that stuff if that's your interest. Because for some couples, sure, you are all each other has and you just keep each other entertained. Whatever. If that's truly what makes you happy, fine. But I think for most people, in couples, you have different interests. My partner does not really like to play video games. We did Mario Wonder a bit, but very, very rarely does she ever. I like to play some video games. So I do. She likes to do puzzles a lot more than I do, so she does a lot of puzzles and everything in the winter time. I typically don't. Every once in a while I will, but it's fine. People shouldn't have to rely on their partner 100% for everything, for complete fulfillment and all of their spare time. And clearly she doesn't. She goes out and does other things. What if you were just like, no, we have nothing at home. So I don't want part of the deal with this. If no TV, then you don't go out. You're my only source of entertainment. Do you see how that doesn't make any sense? It doesn't add up. So yeah, I'm sorry. If she's going to be that dead set on not having any of these things, I think you're probably better off not together. That doesn't feel like a good partnership. And maybe I'm missing some stuff. Maybe you can figure and work it out and you'll be happy. I don't know, but I don't think that that's healthy. Story 2. My wife told my AP I'd rather be 80-year-old me than 20-year-old you, and it haunts me every day. My wife and I were high school sweethearts. We are both 40 and have been together for 25 years. We have 2 children together, 5 and 6. For the past 5 years, I've thought that we are together because we basically grew up together. I met my now girlfriend, 28. I know I'm 12 years older, but I met her at work. She is beautiful and attractive, and I thought she was this new change I wanted. Instead of breaking it off with my ex and doing the right thing, I cheated and I got caught. My wife was so gracious about it. She didn't want us to be together anymore. This was a year ago and I left our house and rented an apartment. We've yet to start divorce, although I don't want to. Neither of us was talking about it. My girlfriend, however, is not so happy about this, and mainly because I left our big house that's originally my house to my wife and daughters. I inherited from my grandparents, and it is worth a fortune right now. My girlfriend means that it is my family home, and for me, yes it is. My family is living there. But my girlfriend meant that when we get divorced, my wife has no claim to the house. 3 weeks ago, my girlfriend and I were dropping our daughters with their mother, and my girlfriend went against my wishes and started talking to my wife about the house. My wife was confused and said that the house is hers and her daughter's, and she looked at me all confused, but my girlfriend told her that it was mine, and it was time to move on. My wife then said that my girlfriend shouldn't put her nose in other people's business. Girlfriend became angry and said that my wife is a hag who is bitter because she's old. My wife smiled and said, "Is your age your only redeeming quality? Because that won't last." Then she said that she'd rather be 80-year-old herself than 20-year-old my girlfriend. She wasn't angry or bitter. She isn't old either. She's 40, like me. Am I so old according to my girlfriend? She's very beautiful too. I don't know what my girlfriend was thinking. I felt so ashamed and angry with myself. My girlfriend was immature and embarrassing. I've been unhappy for months now, but if I broke it off, it means that I have hurt my family for nothing. My wife called me the next day and said that maybe we should start talking about divorce. I broke down crying the moment we ended the call. Now every time I see her, I want to be in her arms and crying. Just thinking about 80-year-old her with 80-year-old me beside her. The way we envisioned ourselves every time we saw an elderly couple holding hands or kissing, and we thought this would be us too. I realized I'd rather have 80-year-old her than 20-year-old anyone. But I've messed that up. You sure did. You absolutely messed it up. And I would say this, I don't know if you necessarily want to go back with her because you want to be with her, or because you want the comfort and security of that 20-some-year relationship that you were so comfortable in. I don't know for sure. Maybe you do really love her. Maybe you did really screw up. Maybe you can fix things. Maybe not. She sure doesn't have to forgive you for cheating, because it's a gross thing to do. And yeah, I don't know. It doesn't sound like you really want to stay with your 20-something girlfriend, and your 20-something girlfriend doesn't sound like a great person. So, I don't know. Yeah, I don't have any real advice for you. If you cheat, you kind of gotta deal with whatever hands people are willing to give you at that point. So, try and do better, maybe have some talks, maybe ask for couples therapy. I don't know, but I wouldn't get your hopes up. Sorry. Story 3. Oh, I can quit? Not without the final say I can't. At my last job, my boss, let's call her Kay, hated me. She turned everything into a competition. She mocked me publicly. She took credit for my work. She divulged my personal medical information in front of all our coworkers. She was cruel, and needless to say, I avoided her as much as I could. So, now that the stage is set, here's the context. End of 2020, coronavirus blazing. I had just had my first baby. I was a nervous wreck my entire pregnancy, working from home and being extra careful. After maternity leave, which was disgustingly short by the way, I had returned to the office with some precautions set in place. My boss became crueler to me over those first few weeks back and suddenly announced that, regardless of any negative feelings towards it, she had decided we all had to attend this training in another state. Keep in mind that there were mandatory 2-week at-home quarantines in place for anyone coming back to my state, but my boss fully planned on ignoring those quarantines and demanding we all would return to the office as soon as we got back. I was carrying a heavy workload and pulling a lot of the weight around the office, and I had some rank. So I felt fully comfortable expressing my deep concerns to Kay, telling her that it was peak COVID season and that I had a newborn to worry about now. I expressed I simply didn't feel comfortable going in the middle of a global pandemic and asked if there was a remote training I could attend instead. She firmly, adamantly insisted there was no remote training and informed me that I could quit if I was that upset with her decisions. It's important to note that she insisted on this for weeks, even claiming to have contacted the training organization to make sure. I decided on the spot after that meeting that I would be quitting. But I needed to check my boxes first, which took me a few weeks to figure out. Sometime after this meeting and her incessant insistence that there was no remote training, it finally occurred to me to check with the organization putting on the training and ask them to clarify if there truly was a remote training or not. I did, and lo and behold, there was, and they had been offering it for months. I asked them to email this information to me. Now, to figure out how to use this valuable information, right? Wrong. As soon as I stepped back into the office, Kay started fake empathizing with me out of nowhere in front of all our coworkers, saying she really wished she didn't need to force me to go to this training. So I said, if you feel so bad, let me go to the remote training. She looked at me in surprise, and her face turned beet red. Before she could fight me, I pulled up the email with the information and read it aloud in front of all our coworkers. No one said anything. They just stared wide-eyed at her while she blubbered like a fool. Long story short, after pulling that fast one on her, I pulled her into a private meeting and gave my notice. She was horrified because, as I stated prior, I carried a lot of the work around the office. But, like she said, I could quit if I didn't like her decisions. Oh, man, I wish that there was some way that you could have done even more and gotten her to lose her job or something, because I genuinely just can't stand terrible bosses like that. And she is a terrible boss and a bad person on top of that. And I think people like that do deserve to lose their job and hopefully learn a lesson from it and become better people. And then maybe she could be an understanding, reasonable person who could become a boss again and lead people with empathy and reason and just not being a total D-bag. So, yeah, good on you for quitting. I hope it left Karen with an absolute mess, and I certainly hope that it did not negatively affect your other coworkers who I'm sure did not deserve whatever crap Kay was throwing at him. Story 4. Lawyer threatened to sue me for a 1-star review. Now his 1-star reviews are going viral. Lawyer scammed me and my family to the point where we're seeking recourse in court. I left the lawyer a 1-star review, and the lawyer threatened to sue me for defamation. It was all true, if I didn't remove the review. It all backfired as I added that fact to my review. Now the lawyer is getting tons of upvotes on my review, and random 1-star reviews harassing him from everywhere. He even got a 1-star review from the Northwest Territories of Canada. LOL, they're so secluded from the rest of Canada that I didn't even know, in my naivete, that they spoke English up there. The lawyer who did me wrong is now a laughingstock. Why would you do that, lawyer? Why would you do that? Because it's on the internet. And you know, if you make a big deal about something on the internet, but you're also in the wrong, the internet is gonna come for you. It's gonna get you. And the internet has no sympathy. The internet isn't going to look at you and be like, that's enough now. We've flooded him with enough 1-star reviews. No, the internet is going to tear you apart. It is going to pick your bones clean. And then it's going to take those bones and arrange them in a very rude and suggestive manner and laugh at you. Story 5. Father covers for his new wife is surprised when I cut him out of my life. Starting this out by saying that what's done is done. This has been a long time coming and it is well deserved. Please don't suggest I try to reconcile with my parents. Recently, I've come to learn that my stepmother has only been around 8 years and whom I don't care for, stole $768 from me, 32 male. When I spoke to my father, all he could do was complain about how many problems this is causing him, the stress on his heart, and how it's damaging his relationship. He didn't apologize for what he did, he just made the phone call about himself. For a phone call that lasted an hour and a half, I probably spoke for 15 minutes or less. I told him we could talk about it when I get there and figure something out. He then suggested flat out that I can help him work to make back the money. Yes, sure, let me perform physical labor to earn the money your wife stole from me and pocket you another $900. That sounds great. I was coming in from out of state for a different reason and already planning on staying at the house. This is my childhood home with my room still furnished how I left it. Like my clothes are still in the dresser for when I visit. Plane tickets purchased, and I sent him the confirmation date. The next day he texts me that I'm no longer welcome at the house, that it's time I grow up and seek health care somewhere else, and that he just needed to know where to send the money. This throws all of my appointments into the void, and I had to cancel and rebuy plane tickets because of it, and now I'm staying with another family. I know he did it to protect my stepmother from the confrontation of facing me in person. She crumbles to dust if people raise their voices around her or curse too much, even casually. For reference, this woman is in such need of therapy that I cleaned and rearranged the kitchen one morning and T started crying and claimed I was kicking her out of the house by making it not hers. All I did was do the dishes and organize and clean the spice cabinet and pantry. He keeps saying that it's for his health, that I'm not there, and that it's too much stress. I have my own money and transportation and provide my own food. The duration of the trip was 2 weeks. I block him and my stepmother on everything. I asked my family to no longer speak to my dad about me. This is all after a lifetime of abuse and narcissistic BS from my father. Now I hear through the grapevine that he's shocked. Just couldn't believe I'd do this to him. My sibling already no longer speaks to him because of similar things, and him telling my brother to grow up and quit being a P after my sibling set a boundary with him. I had warned him before that if he kept up his ways, casually racist, homophobic, blatantly inflammatory, he'd have no one to take care of him when he's older, and he didn't listen. If that wasn't enough, my late mom's last words to him were, "Don't let the family fall apart." Way to go, Dad. It sucks, but yeah, even as a parent, if you're a crappy person to your kids and you don't treat them with respect, they have every right to go no contact with you, as folks are saying these days. And I think it's great. I think it's absolutely great that kids can set these boundaries and just go, you know what? I'm not dealing with this anymore. If you're going to be this person, I don't want to know this person. You don't owe it to your family to put up with their absolute garbage. If they are abusive and treating you like crap, give them the old finger and walk on out of there and don't ever look back. And if they truly want to try and, repair things and become better people, sure, they can try. And if you want to let them, go for it. But if you don't, I don't blame you one little bit. Please leave your story in the comments. I would love to make a video on them in the future. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.